Hello there, you little demons. Jules here for WhatCulture.com, back again with another episode of the awesomely named and awfully hosted Choose Your Own Adventure, the weekly medieval themed format where I, the crown Jules of WhatCulture.com, take a list chosen by you. Yes, you, the person who about 2 minutes before they started recording this just biffed an entire cup of tea onto the floor. That's fun for my PC. So if it cuts out, that's why.
Why?
Yes, you get to decide which list I dole out to you each and every week. And this week we have none other to thank than Shiny Sylvian 420 for their suggestion of 8 failing video game franchises that just refuse to bloody die. Now, as recent times have made depressingly clear, the video game industry is in an incredibly volatile state, where developers spend potentially years working on a game that may or may not end up connecting with players and may or may not end up costing them their jobs. Now, this is why publishers are so keen to just run IPs into the ground, because they don't want to try anything new. New is scary and potentially too much for them to handle, so they will just double down, triple down, quadruple down onto an idea until, oh dear, that well is dry. But will they ever stop and unplug the life support from those failing franchises? No, because they're making just enough money to keep them viable. Brilliant, isn't it? Oh, can I have some more homogeneous slop? Why, thank you. What flavour is it? Bland flavour? That's not... Come on. But with that in mind, let's have a chat about them. As I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 8 failing video game franchises that just refuse to die. I deserve an Oscar for that one. And you know the drill by now. Pop your suggestions for next week's episode down in the comment section below. And yes, I'm not wearing a hat. Shocker, I know. Let's get on with it. Number 8, Need for Speed. Now, there's no denying that Need for Speed is one of the most statuesque racing game franchises ever made, and though it celebrates its 30th anniversary this year, it's tough to deny that the series has been running on empty for about a decade. I mean, the last truly great Need for Speed title was back in, 2013 with Rivals? And then we got 2015's, can't even talk about it, microtransactions, just move on site. And let's be honest, Need for Speed is just a franchise that just doesn't have anything fresh or interesting left to offer. Unbound even opted for a more heightened, cartoonish art style in what felt like a desperate attempt to help it stand out from the pack. And though the series seemingly continues to perform well enough for EA to keep pumping out sequels, likely due to modest production budgets, Need for Speed has near zero relevance in the current gaming sphere, and it feels like a dusty, mouldy relic. Now, it seems cruel to say, but if the Need for Speed franchise went away today and never came back, would anyone notice? Number 7, Silent Hill. Okay, the pitchforks are already coming out. Torches, no, please, I'm a monster and very flammable, but still. Right, this is the thing. I know that many people are going to be absolutely infuriated at my suggestion that Silent Hill needs to do one, but let's be honest. Let's face the hard, depressing facts here. When is the last time that you can say that the Silent Hill franchise was any good without referring to remakes of games that were already brilliant? And even then you couldn't do it, because remember that horrible HD remaster thing where they forgot to add the fog in? Now, Silent Hill Origins, Homecoming and Shattered Memories have their cheerleaders, but certainly they feel like lesser entries compared to what came before. And fans have just been begging Konami to just produce another full-fat Silent Hill game worthy of the original quartet. But the publisher instead responded with 2012's disappointing Silent Hill Downpour, a widely panned HD collection of the second and third games, and the NAF PS Vita spin-off Book of Memories. And then we've got what's happening with Silent Hill now. Silent Hill Ascension and Silent Hill The Short Message.
I like to make jams.
Now, Silent Hill certainly has a lot of projects on the horizon, but sadly few of them look truly promising. Hiring the wildly uneven Bloober team to develop a remake of Silent Hill 2 has many fans up in arms, and the numerous other Silent Hill projects in development like Silent Hill F and Silent Hill Townfall suggest that Konami is just spreading the IP thinly without having a concrete idea of where to take it next. It's a scattershot approach that only seeks to dilute the greatness of the Silent Hill franchise. And it leads us to a point where can we even call the Silent Hill franchise great if it's got this many bad entries? Number 6, Destiny. Right, this one actually feels like a bit of a personal attack with Ali, who I work with over on the Future Games Show, because he loves Destiny. He's hooked in deep, it's in his veins. But even he will admit that maybe the franchise has been on live support for quite a long time. Because the Destiny franchise has had nothing if not a tenure filled with ups and downs, from the first game's underwhelming 2014 launch to the massive improvements made with various expansions and the 2017 release of Destiny 2, which was largely deemed to be a fair improvement over its predecessor. But even Destiny 2 has had a rocky relationship with players over the years. And while we can't say that the franchise is technically dying, because after all, last year's Lightfall expansion definitely posted record-breaking Steam numbers, in terms of pure enjoyment and inspiration, well, it feels like the series is long past its peak. Because despite having outstanding central gameplay, there's nothing really new that's being added to the formula, especially over the last few years, and you've just got to see it as tired and played out, to the point where Destiny 3 kind of needs to come along and have a lot of new ideas to justify even existing by this point. Destiny 2's problem is that it came in and has done everything it designed itself to do so well that there's nowhere else it can go. It's a good thing. It succeeded so well that it's going to fail. Does that make sense? If not, tough, that's the best I can give you. Number 5, Just Dance. Before you even have a go at me here about Just Dance, because I know that there's loads of people who love this franchise, no, I'm not hating on it just because I can't dance. That is the truth, but no, I'm not bitter. Well, more so than usual. Now, if you're not into rhythm games, or at least not this type of rhythm game, it is incredibly easy to underestimate the popularity of the Just Dance franchise, which became a reliable, budget-conscious IP for Ubisoft after first launching on the Wii in 2009. And since then, a new Just Dance game is released every single year like clockwork, in addition to more than a dozen spin-offs. Hell, the franchise proved popular enough that Nintendo kept releasing the game on the Wii all the way up until 2019's Just Dance 2020, which was more than 5 years after Nintendo stopped manufacturing the bloody console. And this is the problem, the Just Dance franchise is experiencing the Guitar Hero phenomenon. There are just too many of them out there, and consumers are rightly just saying, hey, hang on a minute, why am I paying full price for this when you could just easily release this as like an expansion pack or a piece of like very well priced DLC? And Ubisoft is just like, yeah, that sounds great. That sounds great. Whew. That was a close one. Almost had to listen there. And going by the Just Dance subreddit, even longtime fans are feeling burned out by the series' well-trod formula and Ubisoft's craven attempts to wring cash from customers without giving them a content-rich product. Just Dance is at least cheap enough to produce that it probably won't die anytime soon, but artistically and in terms of basically pleasing the fans, it is in a downward spiral. Number 4, Far Cry. The Far Cry franchise celebrates its 20th anniversary this year, and it's fair to say that it's come a long way from the comparative modesty of the original tropical-themed FPS. Far Cry 3 saw the series' popularity skyrocket with the introduction of more memorable villains and a more vibrant open world, helping popularize many of the now tired tropes that are associated with this type of game, most infamously, radio towers. Seriously, I have climbed enough radio towers in these types of games to receive an MVQ in the post. I am now an official licensed radio tower repair expert and a DJ. DJ! That's just me hitting the button on those Casio keyboards from back in the day. What a time to be alive. Now, Far Cry 4 and 5 followed much the same formula to rock-solid success, though the downturn became evident when Far Cry 6 received mixed notices from critics and fans alike for clinging too eagerly to a template that was losing its luster. And while one subpar game is definitely not enough to sink the entire franchise, Ubisoft better be looking at the formula and thinking, maybe we do need to make radical changes, because there is only so many times you can do the exact same thing before customers go, this is the exact same thing, and won't buy it. Maybe then Ubisoft will listen. Hopefully they have sense to do it before the wheels come off fully. Number 3, Halo. Now, once upon a time, Halo was the FPS franchise to beat, with the series' original trilogy serving as a major gemstone of the Xbox brand. But the quality took a bit of a dip with Halo 4, which saw developer Bungie subbed out for 343 Industries, and Halo 5 Guardians proved wildly divisive with fans for both its lackluster single-player campaign and microtransaction implementation in the multiplayer. And here's the thing, 2021's Halo Infinite should have been the return to form, but what happened was, and I'll express it with just noises, and you'll see how accurate this is. It kind of came out, it's like, ooh, Too late. That was them implementing the last patch that added in all of the stuff that should have been there on launch. Should have been there on launch. Is your flagship franchise. What were you doing? It's not like you're short of money. Now, 343 are reportedly all but starting from scratch with the franchise moving forward. And while this could get things back on track long term, it doesn't paint the most encouraging picture for a series which used to be the dominant console FPS beyond compare. Number 2, Alone in the Dark. So, Alone in the Dark, and bless it, I love this franchise. It basically exists in spite of itself. The classic survival horror series launched all the way back in 1992, and though the original game remains much loved for its atmosphere and innovative gameplay, the series' reception has been wildly all over the place ever since. Alone in the Dark 2 and 3 received relatively lukewarm notices, enough so that the franchise took a 6-year hiatus until 2001, when it was resurrected with the not bad, not great Alone in the Dark: The New Nightmare, the mediocre sales of which put the series on ice once more. And since then, there have been numerous attempts to bring the IP back to life, including the utter cheese fest that was 2008's Alone in the Dark. Ooh. Love looking in my inventory in my pockets. It's just like, whoop. Enemies, hold on. Whoop. Don't this way. Whoop. Crikey. Hell, mate. We also had 2015's atrocious third-person shooter Alone in the Dark Illumination, and this year's reimagining of the original game. And what's so frustrating is that this new game that's just come out is again just okay. There are elements of it that are absolutely lovely. I love the atmosphere. I love the fact that they pay homage to the original so well in so many places, but the clunky combat, man, it was like so close. They needed a win so badly. So once more, I feel like Alone in the Dark is going to be left alone in the dark as everyone else goes and plays better produced horror games. And it kills me to say that. And number 1, Dynasty Warriors. Oh, hello there. Is this DWA, Dynasty Warriors Anonymous? Hi, I'm Jules, and I have a problem. I have a severe, crippling Dynasty Warriors problem. I am the person, by the way, who this franchise was made for, because like a silly little guppy, I lap up every single game, every mainline entry, every spin-off game. I've owned them all. I've played them all. I've worn my fingers to the nubs, had them surgically repaired and wore them back down again. I love this franchise, but for the life of me, I could not ever tell you why. The passion went in Dynasty Warriors 5. 3 was pretty rock solid, to be fair. It just died around. Dynasty Warriors 8 was a great comeback as well, thinking about it. But there's a lot of ups and downs that I've had to suffer through, right? So as a huge fan of this franchise, I kind of need it to go. It hasn't done anything new in decades at this point. I mean, yes, they're still going to get my money, unless I can squeeze a cheeky review code out of the publishers for it. But still, I need this to go. This is a personal message. I'm hoping that Sai hasn't cut away from this. This is just an entire monologue at the camera. I love this franchise, and I hate this franchise. I hate the franchise because of the fact it's wasted my time in so many different ways. It's the same gameplay over and over and over again. I don't know why I expect something different going into it. Sometimes the Empire's spin-off games provide that slight tactical nuance that I'm looking for. And I have a good time. A manufactured good time. But what it's really doing is it's putting my brain into stasis. I just don't have to think. I don't have to exist for a while. I get to basically just slop around in some jelly that numbs my entire soul. And that isn't good. Escapism is one thing, but putting your entire life on hold just because you want to just not do it for a while probably speaks to a wider problem that I have. So please, for me, Dynasty Warriors, take a goddamn break. And there we go, my friends. Those were 8 failing video game franchises that just won't die. I hope that you enjoyed that, and please let me know what you thought about it down in the comments section below. As always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome, my friend. And if you want to chat to me on the social medias, you can go over here where I'm at RetroJ on pretty much all platforms, even X. And you can follow Sai over here as well. My friends, my friends, my friends. I hope that you are treating yourself well with love and respect, because you deserve all the best things in life, and do not let anything or anyone else tell you otherwise, all right? You are a massive ledge and you deserve the bloody best. As always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome. Never forget that. And I'll speak to you soon. Bye. Off to play some more Dynasty Warriors now.